Hey Jason,
Sam G, what's up?
all good, Jason. Bye. Good to hear you. Good to see you in person.
Same here. Same here, Sam. Looking forward to sharing and getting started.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we'll I guess wait for another 2 minutes. Start sharp 7 o'clock.
Okay, I love that fancy vest you got on there.
Yeah, this is called the Nehru jacket.
Okay.
Uh, this is I think I'm sorry. Before I say anything, somebody says there's a uh, issue with the volume. Can you guys hear me?
I
You
can
can
hear
hear
you.
me,
Can you
Jason.
hear me?
You can hear me. Okay. 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 Perfect. So, yeah, so this is a Nehru jacket. This is, essentially something which one of our former prime ministers actually made popular. So it's a jacket which is sleeveless, very much like a waistcoat that you'd wear under a suit in another country. So,
Right.
yeah, it's that. Yeah.
LaDonna is asking if we're discussing India or Colombia. Anil is saying good evening, boss.
Anil, good to see that you're online. So yeah, we're discussing India here, LaDonna, but we can talk about Colombia as well as we go along.
Yeah, we have plenty of countries to talk about. Hello, everybody. Samia, good to see you.
Sorry, just I was just testing something. All good, I guess. Okay, so um, I think we should more or less start. Um, I see.
Yeah,
Uh,
somebody coming in from Texas, all the way from Texas, Sam.
hey,
We're going all the way
wonderful.
across the
That is so
world.
great. Brilliant, brilliant. So
Yeah.
I think it's 7 o'clock sharp. Let's start. Good evening, everybody, and good morning to our friends from across the globe. I'm sure that we've got different people from different time zones. I see Samia from Egypt. I see Deanna from uh, Texas, and I see LaDonna from Chicago. And then, of course, across the country, across India, we've got a lot of people here. So, and I see Goa, one of my favorite cities in the country. And of course, we've got Pune, Ahmedabad, um, a lot of people from different parts of the country. So, thanks very much for coming in. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and I won't say good night because it's almost when you say good night, tend to be going to sleep. So I'm not going to say that. But to introduce myself, I am Sam Chopra, president and country leader for EXP in India, and it's my privilege to be hosting this series. We call it the real state of real estate, and with the tagline "Go Exponential with Sam." My journey in real estate, I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself. So, my journey in real estate began over actually 3 decades ago. Over the years, I've played many a role. I've been a broker, an agent, a franchisor, an entrepreneur, and a consultant. And of course, I've been a leader of various ventures in India and internationally. Some of you here would know me as having built one of the largest international franchise networks in real estate in the country, in India. And we don't take names of competition. I'm no longer there, so but people who know who they know, of course. And of course, I've been the chairman of, and I'm still the chairman of International Real Estate Partners for India. They're a facility management and integrated real estate management company. So um, I represent them as for their different things across the country. I also work in prop tech and social impact with uh, an accelerator in India. So that's what I do as part of my hobbies, part of whatever activities I have. But besides all of this, I've spent a lot of time with the uh, industry per se, the real estate industry, which I of course love. Uh, I've served as the past president and the former vice chairman of NAR India, and of course my local association. I've been a founder chairman, the former president, and so on and so forth. So, uh, and currently I've had the privilege of sitting on the board of the advisory board actually of the International MLS Forum. Um, so, while I've done all of this, uh, I think what excites me more is not the companies that I've built, but the ecosystems, the platforms where brokers, developers, and investors grow together. And that's the fun of being a part of EXP. So that's a lot about myself, but I get a swollen head every time I talk about it because, I'm sure a lot of it is utter nonsense, but you will bear with me because, my show, so I get a little bit more to speak on myself. But having said that, it's my absolute privilege to welcome our very special guest today, Jason P. Jordan, CEO of Legends International Team, who embodies the same spirit of thinking and growing without borders. Jason is the CEO of International Legends International Team, like I mentioned, brokered by EXP Realty. Now, that's a very important line, brokered by EXP Realty, which we all use in our teams and ourselves as part of co-branding. He is a global visionary who has built one of the most dynamic international networks at EXP. So, Jason, of course, he is passionate about cross border real estate, empowering agents to scale and pioneer strategies that allow careers to grow without borders. And his leadership inspires thousands across the EXP ecosystem. So, Jason, before we dive in, and of course, I'm going to talk about a lot about EXP, but I'd like you to give us a brief synopsis and a lot more later. But tell us a few words about your journey and some offerings. I know there's something exciting you're going to share with us and give to all our listeners towards the end of this show. But over to you now, Jason.
Thanks a lot, Sam. And Sam, you're pretty a humble guy. When you list all those things, there's a lot of things that you didn't even list from your bio there that you went through today. It is an honor to be here. Thank you for the invitation. And it's an honor to work with you, Sam.
Thank you so
I
much.
know the things not only that you have accomplished are legendary, but the things we will accomplish together at EXP will be truly legendary, right? And for those who have never heard me speak before, I have had the pleasure to lead our Legends International team over the last 4 years at EXP Realty, having agents in over 16 countries, helping open some of the first countries as far as putting in some of the first agents at EXP and some of our new markets back in 2021 and 2022. It's been quite a journey. And then I always like to share a little bit. My uncle is from Hyderabad, so of course I have a connection to India, right? And I know a few Indian phrases, and have built a network of agents in India as well. I am a 3-time #1 best-selling author on marketing, lead generation, and book publishing. So today, just for showing up, I'm going to give you a free digital copy of my book, my first international bestseller called Personal Online Promotion: 3 Simple Steps to Help Your Name Pop Up on Search Engines. So if you stick around all the way to the end during our Q&A session, we're actually going to put the link right in there. Right. So that's going to be a book. And although I published it in 2015, right, I proved to my team that those principles in that book are more important now than ever before. Just type "who is Jason P. Jordan" into ChatGPT, see what happens. All right, Sam, back to you.
Thank you very much. That's really fantastic, and thanks so much. This offer, I'm sure people will stay irrespective. But this offer is like a cherry on the top, and I'm sure everybody's going to be looking forward to it.
Thanks, Sam.
So here we are. Let's talk a little bit about EXP in this episode, which is building borderless real estate careers. EXP was founded in 2009 in the US and is the fastest growing brokerage. The beauty is no offices, no franchises, only a cloud-based, agent-owned platform where collaboration is rewarded. Today, we're almost 90,000 agents across 28 countries. And at EXP, agents don't just earn commission. That's the biggest benefit that we have. We build residual income, gain equity as shareholders, and access world-class training and global opportunities. So why India? Why would you want to, enter into EXP? Well, because we are in the early stages, which means the opportunity is enormous. With a small pipeline, a small team, you can grow the business much larger. It's not completely evolved, and it's not been taken over by EXP. So it's the early mover advantage. And with over 30 million non-resident Indians worldwide and a young and ambitious agent community, India has the chance to become one of the strongest EXP growth markets. I think that's a huge, huge, huge benefit. Anybody I speak to anywhere in the world at EXP, even at a recent conference in Barcelona, everybody said that, you are sitting on top of a gold mine. And when they meant you, it meant all of us as EXP agents and as prospective EXP agents in India. A few of them said, I wish I was in India. I could make things go crazy. And that's the reason, you know, my colleagues and friends like Jason are so India centric and love Indians. And like he said, he knows a lot of Indian words. Some of them might even be cuss words, so he's not going to talk about those. But that's the beauty of he's passionate about India, as you can see. Our initiatives in India, like exclusive listings, and we call them, at least in India, we call them exclusive listings because EXP and exclusive listings. So our road shows that are coming up, and I'm going to talk about them, and coming up in Delhi, in Hyderabad. In fact, Delhi on the 30th of this month, in Hyderabad on the 4th of September, Pune on the 9th of September. We're doing road shows all across and getting in people onto the bandwagon. So we're already building credibility for our agents to add more agents and build. And we'll tell you why and how that is important at EXP. So in today's session, I want you to see this not as a podcast, but as a movement, a chance to reimagine who we are and who we can be, from local players to global collaborators. So with that, I think beyond this, we also have, like I mentioned, the exclusive listings. Now, with exclusive listings, we have a choice of taking them into, or building listings where we say that our stamp of authenticity, assurance, and accountability comes into play because when clients see an EXP listing, they will know, because of our background, and we'll talk about that as we go ahead, they will know that these are verified, trusted, and marketed with the full power of our network. Let's talk a little bit about the traditional brokerages and the EXP model. What is the differentiator, and why do we say that, come and join the EXP model? In a traditional brokerage, you would normally have franchise fees. You'd normally have desk fees in many franchises. And you would be city centric. You'll be in a silo in a particular city. At EXP, we flip the model. There are no offices. We're a cloud first entity, and there's absolutely no geographical limitation. We're agent success focused, agent first, and that essentially drives the company's success. Collaboration replaces competitiveness and rivalry. It's a borderless teamwork. And I'll share a story with you. We've had people from Dubai, from Delhi, closing deals in London. And yeah, they don't have offices. Our agents don't need offices. We work out of virtual centers. We work out of home. We work in a hybrid system. You have access to Regus co-working centers, spaces all across India, and of course across the world. So we shift from competing to building one single global team. So Jason, any questions, any thoughts? You're the guy with
Yeah.
all the the knowledge that we want to actually pick up as we go along throughout the day.
Well, Sam G, I do have a question for you. Talking about traditional versus the EXP model. I've been working in India since 2021. I actually know what a lack and what a crow is, right? And I can talk about that in real estate terms, right? So why do you believe why do you believe now is the time, right, to move away from this traditional model to this cloud-based agent-centric model? Why do you think it's now is the right time for India, Sam?
So, great question, Jason. Essentially, what I see is with the agentic modeling, with the Chat GPT is the most popular AI modeling. With all of that coming in, with virtual reality, etc., I feel the traditional office system just adds cost without real value in a digital first world. Indian agents deserve a global seat at the table and not just a local desk. And that global table will come out of what EXP does because of the cloud first model that we have. So, cloud plus collaboration lets us expand instantly without massive capital investment. I think that's the most important thing, if I may say, why EXP today is the brokerage of the future. Let's talk about.
Can I add one quick thing to that, Sam? Go
Of
back to that
course.
slide for a second. So for those of you who are sitting in Hyderabad, Pune, in Mumbai, in Chennai, or Delhi NCR, what I want you to think about is, I sat in a seat and I built an organization where I override on commissions from 16 countries. And I had to
Amazing.
spend zero money on opening offices, paying for the legal infrastructure, all of that. All of the money is simply converted and pushed back into my account, right? So you can close a transaction in Dubai or the US or the UK with another agent, and it's all converted. This is the power. Let's keep going, Sam. I'm excited, man.
Yeah. Amazing. I mean, there's so much to learn from you. Coming to the commission, which is what our earnings are, what we're looking at, and there are, of course, so many kinds of earnings that we have. But typically, we're talking about a 75-25 split, which means the agent or the business associate, as we call them here, gets to keep 75% of the annual, the entire commission. So 75% and 25% goes to us. And of course, it goes to a lot in your upline, etc. So we keep a very, very limited amount. But more importantly, once you hit your cap, which is 40 lakhs or 4 million rupees, you get to keep 100% of the commission. There are no hidden charges. There are no royalties. There are no desk fees. There are no franchise fees. There's complete transparency. It's fair and highly rewarding for all the producers. So imagine that if you don't have to pay any office rent, you do not have to pay any desk fees, no royalties, no franchise fees, and you have the ability to get 100%, absolutely 100% post capping. And we call it capping because you cap at 40 lakhs or 4 million rupees, which means essentially you're no longer paying the 25%. You get to keep almost the entire 100%. Now, this is something, and there's even more. There's something called revenue share. So you get to keep residual income from the productive agent. So, which means that when productive agents you sponsor, which means, as an example, Jason sponsors, say, somebody in Hyderabad who his uncle refers him to. Now, when you do that, and if that agent is productive, and only if he's productive, of course, a portion of the money that he's earning, not the 75, but the 25% that comes to us, a portion of that would go to Jason, and a portion of that would go to Jason's sponsor, and so on. And it would unlock 7 tiers one by one. So 7 people stand to benefit above on a recurring basis. And this is unlike a referral fee that we would normally have. So there is long-term financial resilience in this, because you know that you will continuously get money, and you may even have left EXP 3 years down the line, or God forbid something should happen to you. This amount becomes your legacy income which your family members then tend to get. So let me ask you a question, Jason. Um, can you give us, and of course, we'll dwell into your past, your present, and your future as well over a period of time, but uh, give us a teaser on the size of your downline and how many of those are productive agents, because you've obviously you've gone across the globe, you've opened a lot of you've had the first mover advantage in a lot of countries because of your vision and your hard work and your strategy. Now, with that number of agents, downline, and then of course, if you unlike an MLM, because we're not an MLM over here, until and unless the agent below yourself, that means your downline, is productive, nothing is coming to yourself. You're not paid a rupee or a dollar to actually do any transaction of bringing somebody, onboarding somebody. You're only paid if you're able to get productive agents who produce and bring into the system. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so thank you for the great question, Sam. And this is an amazing time to be growing EXP. So our active agent count today for my org down is about 70 across 16 different markets, right? I think most of my organization sits outside of the United States, right? If you look at people who have built in the United States, right, all of those first movers, they have thousands and thousands of agents that they just get a small little override up to the cap on, right? That creates that leverage. So this is not something that happens and grows crazy overnight. This is something that you slowly build in conjunction with your real estate business, right? And then there's those of us who are going to really want to go and build and focus on an organization. But I think the majority of people are going to build this as a kind of a retirement income to supplement and then over time possibly exceed their real estate income, right? Um, the revenue share side of this is really important because, like you said, Sam, it is a legacy thing. So
Yeah.
something happens to me, my business can automatically go on to my boys, right? Onto my children. And that this income, once it's produced, and as long as everybody is growing and building at EXP, that revenue continues to come in, right? So if you take a look at like the guy who's really helped me the most, Dave Gagnon, he original director of growth at EXP, agent 123. I mean, he's got 6,000 agents in his revenue share org, right? So
Wow.
that takes time to build, right? And you'll catch momentum. So there are some great questions that we'll get to. I see coming in on the chat, right? And you said on the last slide, if you go back, you said up to 100. You said 100% commission. I'll actually say as we go on, you're going to learn you can earn over 100% at EXP,
Absolutely.
right? You can earn over 100%. So when you do the math, right? So I'm going to let you go on, Sam. We got a lot to cover, and I'm sure as our Q&A, we'll cover a lot more as well.
Sure. Absolutely. Absolutely. So there is, like Jason said, there's a lot more. There are stock awards for production and attraction. So essentially what it means is that agents earn ownership and not just commission, ownership in the organization. So milestones like first deals, capping, or sponsoring, all these lead to stock awards. Then there's the Icon program. In the Icon program, whatever you have paid when you were till you were capping, which means you paid 25% into the company, or the percentage that you've paid to the company specifically, that is returned for to the top producers as stock. And when you say stock, it's not a stock which is not tradable. EXP is listed on the NASDAQ and it has real global value. So the advantage of brokerage, the advantage and a high brokerage at that, 75-25 split, the advantage of revenue share, and the advantage of getting equity and calling it your company, my ownership, is what you get out of EXP. Jason, anything you'd want to add to this?
Yeah, I'm going to add a couple of things, and then I want to ask you from the Indian perspective why this is so different, right? So on the call, the webinar today in the chat is actually one of my team leaders from Portugal is Rita Nunes, and she's now become a capper and will be icon this year at EXP in Portugal, right? And I didn't even know her until I got started at EXP, right? And I had the opportunity to help her grow. And when she closed her first transaction, I received stock, and so did she, right? So I get benefited and she gets benefit just by closing your first transaction. And every year when you close your first deal at EXP, you get stock of EXPI as a retention bonus, right? Every
Yeah.
agent you bring to the company, you get stock when they close their first deal. So there's incentive to create success. Sam, why do you think that this is such a game changer in India?
So really, the most important thing is that it elevates agents from being just salespeople to actual stakeholders. You're now an owner. You're not just employed somewhere. You're not just a salesperson. You actually become the owner, a stakeholder in the organization. And I think that's a great feeling. To own even a sliver, a small portion of it is a lovely feeling. And the most important thing is it creates long-term wealth. It's not just about today's income, but about the future investments that you've made. And those, you buy stock at a particular price and the stock value keeps going up, and you've kept the stock because you're obviously, holding the stock of the company that you're working with. And that becomes huge in terms of capital appreciation also. And most importantly, it builds loyalty and commitment because now the agents or the business associates have their skin in the game. And I'd like to say that I was reading the chats while you were speaking, and one of the things that I saw was one of the gentlemen said that let me just pull that down. Um, so sorry, it was you only, Jason, who spoke about that it is not like Amway. Of course, it's not at all like Amway. You're you don't have to buy real estate to participate in this. It's completely different. In Amway, you have to buy products. Here, you don't have to buy any products. In Amway, the moment you bring somebody in, you get paid for it. This is not that this is not an MLM where you're bringing somebody in and you're getting paid for it. It is only a referring, sponsoring, mentoring system by which you're able to gain by and be a benefactor because you've referred somebody, he's doing well, you've mentored him, and from his earnings, without touching his earnings, the portion that the split that you were giving to the company, you're taking a portion of that for yourself. And that happens for you perpetually for all the earning that he does because you're supposedly mentoring him. So that's pretty much it. Let's go to the next slide. Global collaboration. Think of it this way. There's one company, one brand across 28 countries. An agent sitting in Hyderabad, and we keep saying Hyderabad, I think we should say Bangalore now, or Chennai from the south, or for that matter, anywhere in the country, can work seamlessly with somebody from Toronto, Dubai, London, New York, Seattle. You He can work anywhere in the world seamlessly. I think that's huge. And for referrals, there's one platform, one agreement, and one trusted brand. India's diaspora advantage. Imagine 30 million non resident Indians. The multiplier effect. Those guys, 30 million people want to buy properties in India. Another 30 million may want to go overseas and settle down. The 30 million may buy properties for themselves, for their parents, for their siblings, for their children, an arbitrage for themselves. There's so many things that you can buy or want property for, or they want to sell properties which they bought in India maybe 20 years ago. Maybe the previous generation had bought the property and they may not want to come back, or the kids don't want to come back to India. So there's a lot of transactions that these 30 million people are doing. Now that is pretty much what EXP is all about. and there's a lot more. So I would just want to say that you have an opportunity with us.
I had another question on that real quick.
You have another question. Let's go
Yeah,
back.
I have a question I want to ask. I'm going to add to that. So I want to tell a quick story, right? Why this is so important. So some of you are going to wonder, how do we do this? So we have a complete digital back office dashboard that allows you to see every agent in the entire company worldwide. And you can search based upon the location, their performance, everything. You can see if they're a top performer like Icon. And so I had one of my Indian agents who lived in Mumbai. He had a deal in Dubai. And so he said, hey, how do we do this? I showed him how to search the global referral platform. And I showed him, this is Majida Husni, right? And then what we did is we put together a call. They agreed upon the deal. They put it all in digitally, locked it in. Majida took his client around, found them a rental. Then when that closed, Majida got a commission and my agent in Mumbai got a commission. And then later she helped that friend's friend close a deal. And then he also got paid a share of that too, right? So that's the power of this, not just Mumbai, Dubai, but this is anywhere in the world, right? That's the power, the digital platform. And we don't have franchise or regional managers that are blocking or trying to get in the way, right? So why, Sam, is this going to make India a global hub?
Well, honestly, I think I answered it partially because the 30 million non-resident Indians is the biggest bet that we have. Their constant inbound demand is what's going to get us the entire business coming in. And the Indian developers are craving a global reach. From 5 years ago, when there was less than 5% sales taking place for Indian developers from non-resident Indians or persons of Indian origin, it's come to about 7-8%. And it is my belief that by the next year or so, we're going to be sitting at almost 15%. If 15% of the business that developers do, and I'm talking about prominent developers, large developers do, is with persons of Indian origin outside of India, then you can imagine the kind of opportunity there is for those that are globally connected, those that become international real estate specialists, those that join organizations like EXP, because the confidence of a person transacting from overseas into India will be a lot higher if he knows the brand from before, if he's probably worked with them in his home market, local market in the US or the UK or Canada or Germany or any place in the world where EXP is. And therefore, his reliance will be a lot more. And imagine that the Indian agent sitting in India while building his network, like you have, Jason, gone to 18 plus countries and still counting and moving on. The same way an Indian agent can also go to these 18 countries, can also have a few hundred agents across the globe and start generating revenues in US dollars, in pounds, in dirhams. He can earn money in different currencies all across the globe because of his vision and foresight to join an organization like ours. Yeah. So I think before we go to the next stage where we'll have a lot of freewheeling questions, a lot of discussions, and get to know more about Jason, I'm just throwing open our QR code for EXP India. Uh, should you wish to connect with us, please go to the number which is on the right bottom of the screen with a QR code there. And if you'd like to connect with me, then you have an opportunity to do so. My social media links are there on the left side. You can see the QR code there, and you'd be able to connect with me on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Instagram, and of course, my email as well. So, looking forward to connecting with all of you. But before I go to the next stage, if there are any questions specifically, Jason, you feel that any one of us should answer if you've gone through them?
Yeah, I've been just answering some question as we've been going
Oh,
along.
fantastic.
Somebody
Fantastic.
asked a question about any specific eligibility criteria. So, you know, that you could answer, say, I know that answer. I did answer it in the chat, but if you want to answer it as the
No,
president
go
of
ahead.
EXP
Go
in
ahead.
India.
Please go ahead.
Well, today we have a requirement of you have to be able to show 2 years of production, right? You have to show that you're closing transactions and that you're transparent, right? So this is something that you have to show as a part of your onboarding process, right? And I think that that's really important, that we want to see productive agents here at AXP. You're going to gain so much through the collaboration, training, the technology. And I don't want to spill the beans on the stuff Sam's working on with the developers, but there's going to be some unique opportunities that you would never have as a single broker. And just by simply coming part of the EXP network, you're going to be able to leverage that in a way you could never do by yourself or with a small team, right? I'm so excited, Sam. And I want to tell everybody what we've been working on, but you know, I'll leave that
I'll,
to
I'll,
you.
I'll, I'll share a little bit of that. I'll give them a teaser as we go along during the course of your, your story. We'll talk about it as well. So I saw that, some people have said that, as a fresher, can't they get on board? Well, you can get on board as well as freshers. We are building something where we will have more mentoring, more training for people of those who don't have real estate experience. But having said that, uh, a minimum criteria, of course, is there at EXP. But you can get back to the team, and we'll have more details on that as we go along.
Sam,
So,
can I add to that? So
yeah,
somebody
please.
did message in the chat. You know, if you came here through an invitation from somebody else, of course, connect with them. You know, if they have been talking to you about EXP, talk to them, and then we can actually help you find a mentor or somebody here locally in India that could be a co-sponsor. And so that's something that Sam has been working on and developing, so that there's an incentive for local help, right? This is something I leverage around the world. So
Absolutely. So if you, for example, if you were, say you're sitting in Germany and you want to work with Jason. So Jason is, of course, sitting in Germany. He's spending time there, and of course, as a result of that, he could sponsor you much more easily, and he could, you may not need a co-sponsor. But if you're in India and you go through Jason, and you want Jason to be your sponsor because he's introduced you, etc., then you might want in your local city, say again Hyderabad, um, Jason.
TK.
So, TK. So if you're in Hyderabad, and if we have an agent there, or if you're in Delhi and I'm there, one of us could be your co-sponsor, so that you get to be mentored in your local city as well, and you come through the sponsor who's actually working with you. So it could be the local city as well as the city that your sponsor is from. So you can have a sponsor and a co-sponsor. It becomes a lot easier. And Yeah, and if you're in Bangalore, like Mr. Reddy has said, uh, yeah, we have about 35 agents in Bangalore. So we'll help you find uh, a sponsor of your choice or a co-sponsor of your choice, and you can work with them, you can work with us. We will find ways of helping you. I see somebody from Mumbai, the same. We're across the globe, so don't worry about that.
All right, let's
Uh,
keep rolling, Sam. This is exciting, man.
absolutely,
Even
absolutely.
the
So
more comments and questions I see coming in, I'm just getting
yeah,
jazzed.
yeah. No, don't worry. Anubhav, connect with us. You have my QR code. So just connect, and we'll talk at that point of time, or else you can also connect, of course, to the QR code of the company or the telephone number which is here, and you'd be able to connect with us. So thank you firstly for joining us at EXP at this event, and now it's over to my questions and my hard-hitting questions, if I may say, to my friend Jason. Jason, you're still there. I just took the screen off, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, Jason, as we go along, um, let me start with my first question. Tell us your story. How and why did you get into real estate firstly?
Thank you for this question, Sam. It was a transition. We were living in Germany at the time, and then we transitioned to Italy with my wife's job. She works for the U.S. government. And during that transition, moving to Italy, I decided to change my focus. And I have read this book back in the 90s, pursuing one of my very first businesses, which was the network marketing company. I read a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, right? I mean, so think to yourself, raise your hand. I know I can't see you. You know, if you've ever heard of that, right? And he talks about investing in real estate, the power of real estate, that real estate is the only thing that is sold that is an absolute necessity other than food and water, right? So everyone has to have a place to live, right? And so that to me, and it's the only thing that's sold that also is a necessity that generates passive income or cash flow, right? And so I always knew I wanted to get into real estate, right? So it was 2018. I reached out to two mentors of mine, people I've known for years and years. And this is a big key for success in business and especially at EXP, is finding the right coaches and mentors to lead you down the right paths, right? So when you get started in business, the biggest mistake is that you don't know what you don't know, right? And you don't know what your blind spots are, the things that you can't see because you don't know that they're there. And your coaches and mentors can help you find those, right? So I called these two gentlemen. One was a successful agent who's now an icon agent at EXP, and he's actually my sponsor at EXP today. And the other gentleman got there through building a very large portfolio of real estate, now commercial real estate, and even private lends millions of dollars a year, right? So I reached out to these two guys, Sam, and I said, where do I get started, right? And they said, go and find somebody who has a course or who will coach and teach you the things. So I did that, and I found a course on how to do what we call wholesale real estate in the US. And I spent $1,500 on Facebook ads. And I went direct to seller, and I generated somebody who wanted to sell their house to me for cash. Okay. And I didn't even know. I was like, what do I do with this? Right. And so I pulled in a partner. We closed the deal. And check this out, Sam. $1,500 in Facebook ad spend. And I netted $14,593. I netted, right?
Wow.
And I thought, Sam, this is incredible. And I did that in the US while I was living in Europe, right? And I thought this is magical because I'm just using technology, right? And from that moment, Sam, I was hooked. Okay. And so my partner, Marty Turner, founder of the Legends International team, he got excited about that too. And he's like, hey, let's scale this, but let's just not focus on, a quick cash offer. Let's actually expand it and let's give an offering to every client so they have a lot of choices. So we did that. And by building that one business, that helped Marty do 70 transactions in his first year at EXP. 70 transactions, Sam. Okay. And that was just one vertical, right? So when I really learned about EXP during the pandemic, the height of the pandemic, and living in northern Italy, which was the hardest hit area in Europe, and we were the hardest locked down, it was really hard for me to focus and to concentrate. And I actually remember doing webinars in India in 2021 when you all had that big wave, the Delta wave, right? I remember that and being on calls and people telling me, hey, I have a hard time focusing, right? It wasn't until the end of 2020 when I really dug into the model and I started understanding everything. And that's when I got really excited. So I'm going to jump into my time machine, Sam, and I'm going to go back in time to 1999. And I got introduced to my first company of building a network of salespeople, right? And that was a telecom company that went to $1 billion twice as fast as Microsoft, right? And that's when I fell into love with this model of building networks of salespeople, right? And I grew, and I actually met my wife through that company. It really, the whole industry has changed my life, right? Fast forward a little bit, Marty and I and our partners, we built another network in a wellness company of 300,000, right? So we understood the power of these network models, right? And when I saw that I could marry real estate and the network model together, I said, game over. This is the biggest game changer, Sam, I've ever seen,
Oh,
right?
yes,
So I
absolutely.
look at India and I go, man, if we built a couple 100,000 in China, man, what can we do in India? Right. And that's what excites me, Sam. And the revenue that's generated from real estate makes nutritional supplements look like
Oh, yeah.
nothing. Right. So that's kind of how we started. I chose 5 leaders. And if you're looking today, you know, how do you get started? How do you start to grow? Find 5 of your best leaders that you know that do real estate and are entrepreneurs. And I showed it to them and I said, tell me why this won't work. Right. And I had them try to poke holes in it. The first guy I called, he goes, I called him on his birthday, Sam. He was retired. And I said, Brian, you're coming out of retirement to do this. And he goes, what are you talking about? I said, take a look. Just call me back tomorrow. He called me back and he goes, you got to be kidding me. I said, no, this is for real. Right. Let's go. And so it started from there, Sam. And we started growing in India. We started growing in Spain, Portugal, you know, agents across the U.S. And um, it's been an incredible journey, Sam. You know,
Outstanding, outstanding. So, Jason, a question: why do you believe international real estate is the next big frontier, so as to say?
well, there's no bigger industry than real estate, right? So it's invented one time, right? And once it's gone, right? So there is a limited supply.
Yeah,
I think again that real estate is something that can generate an ROI and a cash flow, which is something that's very unique. It's one of the best hedges against inflation, Sam. We've seen massive inflation over the last several years because of the currency creation that was done as a response to COVID. So those of you that invested in real estate, right, you have hedged against that inflation in a big way through real estate. And I think that if you focus on international real estate, then what will happen is if one market kind of goes down, you have another market that will go up. And I can tell you from my standpoint, there was a gentleman who is the founder of Anarok, and I was on a webinar with him, and he explained that over the next 30 years, there is a deficit of 1.5 billion units in India. And when I heard that in 2021, Sam, I
yeah,
realized no matter what happens on this side of the pond, that India was gonna keep building, right? And I understood that the highest immigrant earners in the United States are of Indian origin, right?
very
And the amount of money that's expatriated back into India is massive, right? And so I knew with the developers and all of that opportunity there, Sam, that's what got me excited. And then, of course, I built in all other countries too, right? But I think, Sam, that's the biggest opportunity is the new development sales and though that Indian diaspora around the world
yeah.
and the other opportunities of international real estate to diversify your portfolio of what you sell and what you grow.
Absolutely. So, what are the challenges that you faced while scaling across countries? Like, the people in India, we're telling them that, listen, you can build your downline not only in India, but across the globe. And you've done that. Uh, there must have been challenges in that. When you go into scale into different countries, language, culture, and so many other things, the way of doing business. How did you face them? How did you resolve them? What's the story there?
Well, I'll be completely transparent, as I like to always do, Sam. And I will tell you, when I first started working in India, worked with this wonderful woman named Sandhya who lives in Mumbai. I had worked with her back in 2013, growing another company. And she's like, Jason, you don't know anything. And I was like, I'm sure I don't, but I'll learn by a baptism of fire. I had no idea what a lac was. I had no idea what a crow was. And I didn't even know where the commas went as we, represent a lac or a crow when we're speaking of the monetary system in India. So I had to learn all of that, right?
Yeah.
I didn't understand in the beginning the slab rates of developers, and so I failed miserably. And Sandy did an excellent job of literally, she had me booked from the moment I woke up in the morning until about mid-afternoon. And then I started working in Europe and in the US, and I just failed. I would literally talk to people and I really didn't even know what I was talking about. I was just so excited, Sam. And I think the best way first is to not be afraid, work with coaches and mentors. And then third, just do it.
Yeah.
Just do it. You're going to learn faster by doing, and work with your coaches and mentors so you have your best shot at your best opportunities first, right? And we're all incentivized to help you grow and win. So leverage us, right?
Very true. Beautifully said. Absolutely. And what advice would you give to especially the Indian agents who are looking to tap into global opportunities, whether it's developers or it is sales referrals? What leave the sponsors and the downline aside. What else can they do? How can they grow their business globally?
That's a great question. I'm glad you asked it, Sam. With that said, I'm going to give my free gift away, okay? Because
Okay.
that's gonna lead me into that. So what you'll understand at EXP is that you are the brand, not EXP. You are the brand. So if no one knows who you are, no one knows who you are, right? So you need to be the best promoter of you, right? And that book that I wrote in 2015 works now more than ever. So if you're on the call today, just open up your chat GPT and type in who is Jason P. Jordan, and then watch what it says, right? And that is all a byproduct of the search engine optimization work I did years ago, Sam, right? So all of that built over time. And the core concepts in that book are still the same today, actually more relevant now than ever. And so you can become an international agent today in Pune, Bangalore, Chennai, in Delhi NCR, Noida, and Gurgaon, and Mumbai, even in Goa.
You know your geography really
Hey,
well.
even
You
in
know your
Goa.
geography really well.
Hey, even in Goa,
Even
man,
in
even in Goa, you could market your Goa properties to the Portuguese population and vice versa. You could market the Portuguese properties to Goa just by branding yourself and leveraging and learning about other markets, right? So
beautifully said.
I brought the largest developer into Saloniki, Greece, into EXP, Sam, because he understood that now he was a global brand, right? And he didn't believe me that we would open the floodgates on him, but that's exactly what happened, right? And he has been getting referrals. We actually, the week he joined, Sam, he had a client that was already coming from Las Vegas and was going to buy 4 units already the very first week he joined. So it's just about others knowing you exist. So that's your first step, right? Is making sure you brand yourself properly and that you brand yourself in a way that everybody can find you, right? Don't be a secret agent hiding, right? So that's how the first step in doing international business, Sam.
Fantastic. Fantastic. You, these are lessons, these are golden nuggets that we're getting. Thank you so much, Jason. So,
Yeah.
Jason, as we go along, I want to tell the team about what we're doing in India to take people global. I
Oh,
think
this is
you want
exciting,
me to say
Sam.
that. So let me break this to everybody. So, what we're doing is, at EXP India, all of us are looking at wanting to go outside the local business that we've done. We've been completely local. And it is my belief that when you build a relationship with an organization which is global, and they have certain offerings we should take advantage of that. And till now, all our agents were working, with EXP support, with marketing, with sales promotion, and every other benefits and, offerings that we had for them. They were working locally in their city, probably in their state at best. But now we said, okay, let's go first national. And in the national bit, what we've done is we're doing a lot of these road shows that I spoke about. The first one in Delhi on the 30th of August, and it's all over on social media, so you can actually see the links. On the 4th of September, we go to Hyderabad. On the 9th of September, we go to Pune. And on the 16th of September, we go to Bangalore. And then before the end of the month, we're also going to Mumbai. We haven't fixed the date as yet. So 5 road shows in almost less than 30 days is what is happening. But what's happening with them is, because we've strung up a lot of developers, we're carrying these developers and different developers, some local, some national, and some even international, with us to these events. And at these events, if you're an EXP agent, fantastic. If you're not an EXP agent and you want to be an EXP agent, come and meet us in person there. You'll get to meet me, you'll get to meet our team. Jason has said he'll come in when we have at least a few thousand agents in India, and he himself has a 500 agent downline, then he's going to come in for these road shows as well. And Jason will take you up on that offer, 500 plus. He's not going to say no, of course. He hasn't told me though. I've just put this on him. But I'll pay for his ticket if that's what it takes at 500 agents, But so imagine that so many developers, so many real estate agents who are not competing with you, but collaborating with you, are going to meet at one place, and you come in, meet up with us. If you like things, come and sign up with us, work with us, find yourself a sponsor from the people that you meet. Jason, myself, all the others that are from EXP on this group, because I saw some people saying I'm already from EXP. Anybody can be your sponsor. Anybody can be your co-sponsor. Look at all of them and try and join. That is a great motivation, great inspiration, and a great reason to come and join up with us. Now, taking this forward, what we're saying is we're going to now take you global. So we're doing a series of events. We're taking people to the UK and Canada. In the UK, we're planning, it's still, we're at the signing stage, but we're going to Birmingham, we're going to London, we're going to Manchester, we move to Toronto in Canada. So that's one trip that we're doing. We're taking developers with us. Some agents will come with us. Some of you who are not part of EXP and join up are most welcome to come in with us. We're taking the next trip. EXP does this huge convention in Miami called EXP Con Miami. So we're going for that. And from that, we travel up north on the East Coast. We do Orlando, we do Tampa, we do New York, we do Boston, and probably even Chicago. We go a little to the to the west, and we do this journey. And then there is the National Association of Realtors does an NAR Next every year, which is in Houston. We go for that, and then we go to Dallas, we go to Phoenix, and we go to the West Coast, and we do LA and the entire Silicon Valley, whether it's Sacramento, Santa Clara, San Francisco, that entire belt. So these are 3 different trips, and there are many more. These are the ones in September, October, November this year. But you get an opportunity to bring in the developer of your choice. We will ensure that the developer pays for your cost of travel, because that's part of our contract and deal. And the developer and yourself and us travel to these countries trying to sell their products. We have tied up, and we are in the process of further tying up with agents in those countries. Those agents are of EXP and of Indian origin, or those who are not of Indian origin but have clients of Indian origin. So those guys will tie up with us. They will bring in the clients. We are looking at picking up a banquet hall. We're looking at some Indian restaurants in certain places, so you get some good Indian food, attract people to come in, and the developer talks about his products. We sign up and move on. For this, we've identified certain country ambassadors, host country ambassadors in the US, in Canada. We're looking for others across the globe. So if you're of either Indian origin in a particular country apart from the US and Canada, because we've more or less identified people there, but if you're in other countries and you're of Indian origin, or if you have a huge clientele of Indian origin, please let us know. We'd love to nominate you as a host ambassador on behalf of EXP India for your home country. And of course, you will get a share of the brokerage, the fee that we earn out of that, or our agents, both side, the buyer and the seller agents earn out of that. And the beautiful thing is, we'll establish a stronger relationship. We're looking at setting up a non-resident Indian or NRI council. So we will make this a huge movement across the globe. And it's those that understand the importance of this, get the value of it, and join us will, of course, benefit in that. And having said that, a lot of our team members are anyway coming with us. So we're looking forward to having a large group going with us. So thoughts from your end, Jason? You're very, I know you're very excited about it, and thank you for all the help that you've given us in this, by the way.
Well, it's not just my help. Okay, Sam, there's a lot of people involved, and we don't have time to name everybody here today, but it's the right place, the right time, the right people. And if you've ever dreamed of, having a global business, especially if you're an Indian in India or an Indian outside of India, it's never a better time than now, right? And this program that Sam is just really teasing you about today, I believe, is going to help us completely consolidate the market in India once you understand all the particulars and the opportunity to work with this on a global scale where you know that your commissions will be protected because of the infrastructure and the contracts and the referral system that we have in place at EXP. That you can refer a client to one of our events in the US or Canada or the UK, and that gets closed and you get paid your share. And those of you who have done a lot of business with developers in the past maybe have not had that opportunity. And that's what we have been working on. And Sam, thank you for your due diligence and your experience, having done this before, to be able to come in and help us put all the infrastructure in place. So I'm excited about that. Somebody said they're going to come to EXPCon as well, Sam. I'm going to be there. I do want to make an announcement here. I will be moderating a panel at EXPCon on cross-border transactions and co-sponsoring internationally. So looking forward to seeing everybody there. And it'll be a great panel to share and talk about these things. Sam, you remember when I moderated that panel on cross-border transactions in Barcelona, and we had a great conversation.
It was awesome. It was awesome, absolutely. And so much of knowledge sharing in that. Thank you very much for that as well. And I'm looking forward to the one in Miami as well.
Well, me too, my friend. Sam G, thank you so much.
Thank you so much,
very
sir,
much for inviting me.
I think most people have. I think, are there any questions which remain unanswered? If there are, and I'm sure there will be, what I'd like to do, if it's okay with you guys, please reach out. You've obviously noted down our numbers. You know the details. You have, you have our email IDs, and you have me on LinkedIn now. Hopefully, through the QR code that I shared with you, send me a message. I'll respond. Our team will respond. You have our registration. We have your registration details. Our teams are going to call you. Pick up the phone if you don't recognize the number this time around. You'll get a call between now and late tomorrow evening. So pick up the call, ask your questions, do meet up with us in the cities we spoke about, or otherwise just online, and we'll take things forward. And there was a question at some point of time where somebody said, this is India and, online business is difficult. trust me, COVID has changed everything. Everything is possible online. You know, did you ever think that you'd be able to get groceries and get, you know, any kind of products in your home within 10 minutes, but you can get it now, you know, thanks to various companies in quick commerce in India. So anything is possible, trust me. And AI is completely changing that. You'll be surprised. I've written an article, which probably in the next show I'll share with you guys. But uh, just to let you know, the next podcast episode is going to be on, we're doing it every Wednesday from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. India time. The next one is on the 3rd of September. It's going to be with another great colleague of ours called Tom Truong. Tom has an amazing following. He is an extremely dynamic speaker. I've seen some of his shows uh, online, and of course, I've met him in person. He is one of the many reasons, but one of the key reasons, nevertheless, that I have joined EXP. And he has a downline of almost 1,400 agents. 1,400 agents. So you can imagine that we don't even have 1,400 agents in India today. Of course, we will in some time. But we've got to first compete with Tom in a friendly manner. But we've got to compete with Tom to reach 1,400 before we have bigger dreams. And you're going to see him next week on the 3rd of September. So stay tuned. And there's lots more coming. Our podcasts are going to go wider. We have gotten a lot of people from EXP. We've got some social influencers earlier. We've got some prop tech guys earlier. But going forward, we'll have developers. We'll have prominent agents from across the globe. We'll have key members of EXP Global giving you their insights. So even if you don't want to join EXP, it's a great learning platform for you, because you'll pick up something or the other of huge value, which you can use in your business later on. So with that, thank you, my friends. Thank you very much, Jason. And thank you to my production team who's made this possible. And they've had sleepless nights and worked on holidays to make this happen. And of course, to the entire EXP India and global staff, Jason, and all of you for having the patience to listen to us. Uh, thank you, everybody. Goodbye, good night, Shubhratri, and happy Ganesh Chaturthi. Today is a very important festival of one of our most auspicious gods. And despite that, people have spent time with us. So thank you very much again.
Thank you, everyone.
See you all. Goodbye.
Ciao.
Cheers. Goodbye. Ciao.